If you need to call the IRS with a question, bad news today. You may never get an answer. The IRS Taxpayer Advocate, this is a government-run consumer group, releasing a report showing that the IRS lost 10,000 jobs to budget cuts between 2010 and 12. It also says the IRS will no longer help the elderly or disabled prepare their tax returns. And 17% of tax revenue that should have been collected back in 2006 was never collected because of those apparent job cuts. Well, and that number could now grow. So, Kyle, where do you see this going with the IRS? I mean, they've already gotten a really bad rap for targeting Tea Party groups.
Well, Gretchen, it's an institution in crisis. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I'll give you an example. 109 million phone calls in 2013 to the IRS from folks just like us that want to talk about their taxes, and only 60% of those phone calls return. So if I have a private business like I do, and I'm only returning 60% of my calls to essentially customers, I don't see how that works.
Well, Ari, what about the fact that they're not going to help the elderly anymore, the disabled? Is this all an attention-getting thing to get more money in their budget?
No, I think it's what Kyle said. It's poorly run. And I think if the IRS was run like a Fortune 500 company in the private sector, it would run absolutely seamlessly. But the issue is, at the end of the day, like, the consumer and the end user is having a very, very difficult time paying their taxes. Well,
and there was breaking news that was happening just before we came on about this topic. You have the IRS commissioner. He's only been in the office in the last month. He said this quote, and I know you've done research on this, Kate. "I've had a police chief tell me street crime is down because everybody is now filing false IRS returns." Really? I mean, that's now where all the criminals from the streets are going to the IRS?
Yeah, we did a big story on this last year on foxbusiness.com. I had a gang bust in Miami where these criminals, they were renting hotel rooms and filing fake tax returns. And basically their police chief just said, this is safer than slinging drugs and fighting with each other in the street. So they'll go rent a cheap motel, file all these fake tax returns, and hopefully the IRS is focusing on busting crimes like this. I mean,
well, apparently not, because they're claiming they don't have enough staff to even answer the phone calls or help the disabled anymore. It doesn't look like good news on the front for the IRS.